What's up everyone? In today's video, I'm going to continue off of my last video, which was about camera maintenance. Now for those of you who have not watched that video already, don't worry, you don't have to watch it. It's mainly about cleaning your camera and how to do it properly. Check up here or down below, there's a link for it. But before we begin, if you are new to my channel, I make a lot of content that's related to like video tips, photo tips, pretty much anything and all thing camera or film and photo related. I'm your guy. So if that sounds interesting, make sure to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell if you want to know when I make more content. Compared to when they first were made, cameras are very sophisticated and they have their own like computer motherboards on the inside. So like most computers or just anything with like a motherboard, then there's going to be some kind of software update. Now the good thing is these updates are not as frequent and annoying like your phone. For the most part, they make these updates like every 6 months or year or so. I mean, it varies depending on the camera model and how new the product is. So this is something you should keep an eye out for almost like every 6 months. And in reality, you're not actually updating software, you're updating firmware. If this is the first time you've ever heard of firmware and you've noticed that your camera's kind of been a little sluggish, this might be a firmware issue that you need to look up. So the best practice is to look up what's the latest firmware for my camera model. Usually in the menu, there's like a section in the back that tells you what firmware version it's on. Make sure to compare it because if you are behind a couple versions, then yeah, update it. But if the gap isn't that far away, then you can hold off a little bit. However, it just depends on how faulty your camera might be. Once you upgrade the firmware, then you can't go back. So I just highly recommend you read up on what the updated firmware is, read the instructions on how to install it properly, because if you don't do it right, you could damage your camera. And if your lens is electronic, believe it or not, there is firmware for it as well. I mean, it varies by the maker on how to update it or if you need to update it, but if you've noticed that your lens is a little faulty, then it's probably one of the first things you should double check is if there's a firmware update. So one housekeeping tip that I recommend is you need to store your camera properly. Definitely keep it away from moisture and away from direct sunlight and excessive heated areas. So definitely keep it out of the bathroom while you take a shower. And if you have kids, pets, or just nosy friends and family that just like to touch things, then obviously keep it in a place that's safe, that it's not really gonna get disturbed. In a way, I hope it's just common sense right there. But for those of you who want to keep your camera in a bag ready to go, I highly recommend you get a really good bag. Make sure it's padded well, pretty sturdy, and that the outside is weatherproof. And if you want, get a stylish one because why not? It looks cooler. But one practice I started to adopt is to throw in a gel silica packet. You'll find these silica packets in random products that require it to be dry. If you're not gonna use that product or that package anymore, you might as well just take the silica packet and then just throw it in your bag. So that way, when you put your camera in there, it just traps any moisture and just, keeps your camera safe. But if you want new ones, you could easily order them online. I mean, I'll put a link down in the description if you want like your own giant pack of silica packs. In a way, it's the same concept as if you were to take a bag of rice with you if your phone were to fall into water or just get wet somehow. I mean, the bag of rice is only useful if you throw it in the actual rice, but that's a waste of rice and only if you really absolutely need to. The other problem is that it gets all dusty and then that's more cleaning to do. And I only had to do it once for one of my equipment, and that was for my Tascam audio recorder. I spilt coffee on it. I quickly saved it and threw it into like a cup and then threw a bunch of dry rice in it. Waste of rice, but hey, my equipment works now. When it comes to cleaning, there are proper steps to follow in order to clean your camera adequately. So first of all, you should make sure to have a good cleaning kit. Particularly, you want to make sure you have an air pump, a brush or the brush pen, and probably a soft cloth as well. Now, if you are going to clean your camera, first thing you should always do is use the air pump. You're going to blow off all that excess dust and you don't want to like rub it in and cause more scratches. After that, use the soft brush to brush away any like particles that are trapped on the camera or the lens. And then the third step is to use the soft microfiber cloth to like rub out any smudges and essentially do the final polish. Now, if you have the brush pen that has the combination of that little microfiber tip on the other side, then by all means use that, but it's probably not going to work well on the body. So regardless, I think you need a microfiber cloth anyways. Something I feel that gets overlooked is battery care. What I mainly mean is how you store your battery. Usually if you're not using your camera, you should always take out the battery. Now, I'm guilty of not following this all the time, but it's always best to do so because you don't know if the battery is going to corrode and it might drain out as well. I'm just paranoid, and just best practice is to take it out and just put it in a safe spot so that way it's not draining power and you know that it's always going to have 100% battery charge. But also take some time to clean off the battery, because if you drop it in the dirt, then don't put that in your camera. You want to make sure to dust it off, clean it off well. Definitely use a Q-tip, use the air pump to clean out any dust that may get trapped on it, and definitely clean out the battery slot, because then that'll help keep it functioning. And the same rules apply to the memory card. When I'm not using the card, I would rather carry it in its case rather than in the camera, so that way if the camera were to get dropped, then the card's not going to get corrupted or broken somehow. In a way, it's just a safety thing. Of course, if you are a run and gun type person, then you always got to remember to grab a new battery and grab your memory card, because there are times where I've walked out of the house with my camera and I didn't have a memory card or a new battery inside. So you gotta pick your battles. Do you want to keep it safe, or do you want to run the risk on your camera? Another way to take care of your camera is to put a screen protector on it. Usually every camera with a screen on it will have some kind of a screen protector made for it, so it's always good to have one. Now be aware that once the protector goes on, then it's there. It's gonna be on there for good. And trying to peel it off and redo it, that runs the risk of peeling off the layer of plastic that's already on the monitor, and you end up having this like scuffed up looking monitor. So if I were you, I would always be very cautious when you apply one of those screen protectors. It's gonna help in the long run, but just be aware that with most of them, there's no do-overs. I'm sure there are methods to get screen protectors off your camera safely. If there are, please leave a comment below. I would love to know, so that way I can put a new screen protector on my camera. So I hope after watching this video, and if you watch my other cleaning video, then you're gonna take better care of your camera. Remember, a camera is a big investment, and you should take care of that investment. So if you guys found these tips useful, make sure to hit subscribe and that like button. Definitely follow me on Instagram. You're gonna see a lot more content right there. And if you want, hit that notification bell so that way you know when I make new content here. And if you guys need a cleaning kit, or you just wanna get a bunch of silica packets, then I'm gonna put the link down in the description below. And here's a little shameless plug as well. If you like the music that you hear in all my videos, I use it from audio.com. If you really like the music and want some easy licensing for your videos, you can get a lifetime subscription from them. And if you throw on the promo code Tyler10, you can also get 10% off of that sub. So again, check out audio, great music, easy licensing, and one-time payment. So until next video, see ya.